Hey there, welcome back to another episode of our Be Encouraged Moments. Today is a really, really special day. Larissa and me, Jan, you used to seeing and hearing from us only, but we have a special guest with us, and it has to do with Brandon the Bee's buzzing adventure. I am beyond excited about this. So we have Jonah Grimm. He is a major player of this. He was a development of the game. He had so much to do with the game, and I hope that you all have been playing it and loving it and just kind of going through. Leave us messages on the bottom and let us know what you think, what you'd like to see different, what you'd like to see more. And we're just going to jump into what Jonah has done. And I'm just going to let him talk and kind of share with you his exciting parts of it and what he does, maybe some of the other players of this game. So, Jonah, take it away.
Thank you so much for having me on. Well, me and all of Grimm Tales, we've been so excited to work on this game. It's been such a blessing and such an exciting project for us. The interesting thing about this project, the first question that we kind of had to ask was, what does the world of Brandon the Bee look like in a video game? And we're trying to figure out, what does that look like? Do we want mini games? Do we want levels? How much story do we want to put in there? And obviously you can see how the final version turned out, where it turned into a little bit of what you would call a mini game rush. So there's lots of different games to play, 7 games in total, and there's lots of ways to customize and replay each game over and over. We really wanted to make sure that each game had a ton of replayability so that you could keep going and keep enjoying it, so it wasn't just like a one and done. There's tons of other fun things to do, so we're really happy with that. One of the interesting systems that we came up with that we were really happy with was the challenge system. That's kind of what we generally called it. So you have the ability to drag these little tiles on the screen to choose what type of elements and obstacles that you would like to have appear in the level. And what's really fun about this is this ignites creativity in kids, because they get to ask the questions of, like, what does this level look like with frogs in it? What does this level look like with dragonflies in it? What does this level look like? And they kind of have those what if questions, so they can play around with it and explore and test it out. If something's a little too hard, they can take those off, and they can control it exactly at their own pace. So that was one thing that we were, really, really happy and excited about. In addition to that, we worked really, really hard on the story for the game. The lead writer for the project, Isaac Hunter, he did a fantastic job, but we were all really pleased with it. He read all the source material. He tried to make sure that it was as close to the source material as possible, and I really think we hit that, because we were talking before about how it sounds like you were really happy with the way the story turned out. So.
Yes. Indeed.
Well, and one thing that I noticed whenever we would have a meeting, the excitement that you guys had when we would talk to you, where did that excitement come out of it? Was it the concept of the game, or was it the tech side of things that got you guys so fired up, or all of it?
Honestly, we love what we do. We love to make games. We thought this was a great project because we thought the scope of it was very reasonable. It was very manageable to tackle. We've kind of had some experiences with projects where maybe a little bit too big for us in the past. So it was really excited to work on a project where it's like, oh, we can see the finish line. We know everything that we need to do. So what we could really focus on is the execution, meaning that we can focus on making everything as fun as possible, all the little animations, all the little details, and we don't have to get bogged down by making, a really large project. So we're really happy with the size of it and the scope of it in general. There's, tons of content in there, tons of things to explore and unlock, and little secrets, and the story has a lot of different little, emotional curves and whatnot, so you guys will have to see it for yourself. And there is a little special bonus at the very end of the game. If you play it all the way through, there's a final little reward. I obviously don't want to say what that is. They can figure that out for themselves. So, yeah.
What was one of your favorite memories or moments when developing this game? Like, was there a character that spoke to you? Was there a level that spoke to you? Or was there just something that, like, you just had a lot of fun working on?
I would say one of my favorite parts was really seeing, like, the art of the world come together. because we were trying to figure out exactly how do the characters look like in this world. Because we're looking at the original children's books and we're like, what does that look like? Trying to balance that out. But we're really happy with how the art style came together. And it was once we put the voice acting in there and once we had the animations and we put it all together and had all the backgrounds, and it just really felt like it came alive. And I think that's what was so satisfying is, of course, we enjoyed making the game part of it. That's kind of more my area. But it was very creatively satisfying to see all these characters come to life in a way that they haven't before. Yeah. So that was something that was really special.
And you were saying earlier about the voice actors, one of the things that really touched you.
Seriously, Brandon the Bee and Queen Bee. Of course, they're going to be my favorite characters. I love all of them. But it really touched my heart when their conversation, when they said, I love you too, Brandon. And it was just just emotional for me. It was really cool because I found out that the actors, the voices for those were actually mom and son. And that in itself was very touching. I mean, I think you did a phenomenal job on all of the voices. But I do have another question. The one part that I loved about the whole game is the music. So, and I noticed that all of the pieces of music kind of tie back to the theme, the original theme of music. Tell us a little bit about the music.
Yeah, we worked really hard on the music. There were 3 different artists that were involved. So that was Isaac Hunter, Gideon Imboden, and Joshua Marsh. And it was really interesting to figure out what this world sounds like, because we were trying to find a balance of making it really fun and exciting and kind of having a more like traditional like mobile game upbeat type of energy to it. But we were also wrestling with trying to bring out this like warmth and wholesomeness that the story had. And it ended up being divided in half a little bit, where you had Joshua Marsh that took the lead on all the minigame music. So all of the exciting, upbeat stuff, that was all him. And Isaac and Gideon, they were working more on the story music and kind of working along with the themes. It was a really close collaboration between all 3 of them, so there's like a lot of influences across the board, of course. But yeah, it turned out really well. I was really pleased to see what it turned into. I think it was really convenient, too, that the musicians, or 2 of them, were also very heavily involved with the writing of it. So that allowed them to bring out the moments of the story even more, because there's lots of really custom music tracks out there just for like one part of the story. And there was even some parts where like I'd open up a cutscene, I'm like, this has a custom music? You guys wrote custom music for this one cutscene? They're like, of course. So yeah. And if you guys really love the music a lot, it will be available on streaming sites like YouTube and Spotify. We're still working on bringing that out there. It's not available quite yet, but stay tuned. When you search Brandon the Bee, you will be able to listen to those as well. So
cool. What little piece would you want to share with the audience about what makes this game so special? Obviously, we think it's the best game ever.
Right.
But why do you think it's the best game ever?
Exactly. Well, not biased at all, of course. But something that is really exciting about this project is we really focused on making sure that the messaging of the game had a lot of positive values. There's a lot of iPad games out there. There's a lot of games you can play on your phone, but maybe not all of them are the best for your kids, right? We'll just leave it at that. But we wanted to make sure that this was a positive influence on their lives. So there, even from little things with having like the challenge system where kids can kind of like test their abilities and see how good they are, it's really, really good for a child to be able to try to push their limits. Even though it isn't a game, right? It's not real life. It's a very great way for them to kind of practice growing past like what they think they're capable of. And of course, the story itself, we spent so much time really making sure that the morals of it were very strong, and it was would be a very positive impact on them. So I would say those are the kind of the things that I want to shout out.
So these guys have been amazing. The team was amazing. I mean, it was wonderful to work with them. It was wonderful to hear their ideas. They didn't just come to the table and build exactly what we said. They came to the table and had suggestions and they had thoughts. As we've told you in past videos, a lot of this was built out of the books, so the storylines were meant to follow the story that the books followed, but with a flair, and with their own personal touches, which is so fun to see because I can play through the different levels and I can see each one of them and their different things that they did. And so we just thought it'd be really fun to bring Jonah here and let you guys actually hear from him and not just us constantly talking about Bren and the Bee. This has been an amazing adventure, I know, for the two of us, and I think for you as well.
Oh, absolutely.
For your company, I think it was a great opportunity for your company as well, from what you were telling us before. So this has just been a really fun adventure. I always want to know what you guys think, what questions you guys have. If you have questions for Jonah, we will absolutely make sure he gets those. So leave them in the comments below, and we will get the answers to the questions if we don't know the answers to them. We want to thank you guys, as always, for being here with us, for enjoying these conversations with us. We were excited to bring Jonah. We hope to have more like this where we do interviews and you guys can hear from other people who are involved in these things with us. But thank you, as always, for joining us for our Be Encouraged moments.